The Epstein victims are coming to Capitol Hill to give statements and give interviews.
Do you think that Trump is faking dying so that he'll never have to release the list?
I think
No.
he's doing anything he can to never have to
I think it just
release-
happens to coincide at the same time.
But I think
If
he
Trump
is
dies, do you
dying.
think they'll release the list?
No.
Really?
There's so many powerful people on that list.
That's why Donald Trump doesn't like Thomas Massie, is because he's the only Republican, really, and MAGA, who is trying to push the release of this list. And every other MAGA Trump supporter is like,
What's up, my milky moths? My name is Ansley, and welcome back to the Boardwalk Podcast. These are my friends, Gabe and Tess.
wow.
I had to switch it up. I was going to say, like, my slithering little sinners, but I was like, nah, I feel like today's a
They're
day.
milky.
My
They're
milky moths. Lots happening this last week. We thought our president was dead. We were wrong.
Yeah.
But that got me thinking about what it would be like if JD Vance had to actually be president. And, you know, I don't really know much about JD Vance's policies, considering they seem to have been formed within the last year as he became Trump's running mate. And also that he has a past on Twitter of like saying things that are not in favor of Trump, like very avidly anti-Trump, and even has like videos of him like in dresses wearing makeup. And so it's like I'm really confused as to what a presidency under him on this hardcore conservative landscape would even look like, considering he seems to be a little himself and also full of contradictions and just a straw man. I don't think he has a backbone.
Yeah, I think that he is a Republican through and through, so I think that he will help push forward Project 2025, but I don't think he believes I don't think he believes in Trump. I think he believes in having power. I think he'll be a bad president, but, like, I think that with a cult, like, getting rid of the leader
Is the most important.
actually going to improve things. Like, yeah, JD Vance will be a terrible president, but like Trump is also a terrible president, and he has a cult following.
Like JD Vance won't be able to sustain the same level of cult following.
I do think that it breaks up the like MAGA who maybe don't vote very often. You know, like I feel like Trump, a big thing that he was good at is mobilizing a group of people who typically don't vote. And I think if they don't have his brand to rally behind, like I don't think they're going to rally behind JD Vance.
But yeah, for JD Vance, like it's something that he's been, if you look at past interviews and essays he's written or articles he's written, you know, hillbilly elegy and all that, he positioned himself as this like anti-Trumper. You know, he's like, I'm a never Trumper, you know, whatever the past interview he had on Charlie Rose or someone, I forget where it is. Anyway, multiple interviews, statements. There's that Facebook message that he had with a former friend / roommate where he called Trump and he's like, you know, all these people are dumb and I don't know if Trump is going to be the America's Hitler, you know, thing. But people don't really seem to care, especially on MAGA, because they have no sort of moral, ethical, or, you know, kind of fiber in their body, so they'll move the goalposts, they'll, you know, fair weather fan it, you know. And so like you see the same thing with JD Vance, where he, since taking office as a U.S. senator, has made his policies known to be like very much aligned with Republicans and MAGA. And then when he became VP, the nominee, and then he ultimately was sworn in as VP, he has, you know, marched in line, lock and step with Donald Trump and his policies, Project 2025. You also have to remember that, too, the money that backs JD Vance comes from Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
And so Peter Thiel, being the humanoid being, is trying to remove humans from every plane of existence in terms of, like, labor and in certain industries. And
that's so cool.
I mean, the New York Times interview that I had with Peter Thiel was like, oh, so like, how do you feel about people? And he was like very hesitant about like saving lives. And
it kind of sounds like if Trump lives, then we have Nazi Germany on American soil. And if he dies and JD Vance takes over, then we lose all human interaction and have synthetic human robots designed by the one and only Peter Thiel to avoid having to pay labor costs.
Because now we've got tech billionaires who are trying to form policy by removing democracy. And so we would have something beyond, I guess, Nazi Germany at this point. without Trump. But that's the thing that, to the points that you guys brought up is like, if you remove Trump, can he sustain the following? And I don't think
so.
But the one thing I really hope is that when people look at like the resistance against Trump, that it doesn't die with Trump's body.
Yeah, that's the thing is I've been seeing a lot of people get like way too excited for Trump to die, which like, yes, we're all juiced and jazzed for that gutter goblin to kick the can. However, that doesn't, like, it's literally a hydra. You cut off a head, 2 more grow back.
Right.
You got to keep chopping. And, I just think it'll be good news if we don't have that guy in office anymore. But then also, I really just don't think, JD Vance has the funding, and I think it'll be easiest for hardcore conservatives to just continue to push the agenda behind him. But I think he doesn't have the sway, as you said, of the American people in the way that he would need to sustain this level of fascism. Mm-hmm. So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep fighting, keep calling your lawmakers. Don't give up the good fight just because the guy is dead and he's not yet. So
and he's not. And he has made a public appearance as of a few
this morning,
which was wild to watch some of the clips before this because he was making his huge announcement and it ended up being about the Space Force. The Space Force. Then they were moving the headquarters from Colorado to Alabama.
I gotta say, the Trump regime really has blown me away with their constant dedication to the most important issues of the American people.
Yeah.
I, for one, was aghast thinking that, what is it, the Space Center?
The Space Force.
The Space Force was not in Alabama. So I'm feeling really good about
this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, really goes to show you that the issues are prioritized.
Do you think that Trump is faking dying so that he'll never have to release the list?
I think
No.
he's doing anything he can to never have to
I think it just
release-
happens to coincide at the same time.
But I think
If Trump dies, do you
dying.
think they'll release the list?
No.
Really?
I don't
There's
think
so
they'll
many
ever release the
powerful
list.
people on that list.
Yeah. But also, like, any distraction, because
That's
right
so
now during this
weird.
week,
Yeah.
the Epstein victims are coming to Capitol Hill to give statements and give interviews. And
I hope they are so
Thomas
protected.
Massey, Ro Khanna are teaming up to do it. That's why Donald Trump doesn't like Thomas Massey. It's because he's the only Republican, really, and MAGA, who is trying to push the release of this list. And every other MAGA Trump supporter is like, "Oh, no, that's good. Like he said that we're not. He said we're gonna get it, but we're not gonna get it. But he said we're gonna get it." And it's like this back and forth with them. And they'll make any excuse they can get. And Donald Trump just last week, before he did his little disappearing act, he said, "I'm the president, and I can." And I'm paraphrasing, "I'm the president, and I can do what I want." Well, if that's true, then release the list, right? And he's trying to use that excuse for all the other things, tariffs and sending forces into cities and all that bullshit.
Speaking of that, he, sent the National Guard to L.A.
Boo!
That was fun.
And they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
A federal judge, California sued them, and a federal judge has decided that, that is illegal. That was overstepping, and it's specifically because of it violated the Posse Comitatus Act, which is basically like the federal government, or I think specifically around the National Guard, cannot overstep like local law enforcement without approval from Congress, which Trump did not have approval from Congress. He
Because
just
he sucks.
Yeah.
sent them in here.
And also not without any coordination with the state or local officials. He was just like, "I'm sending them in." And everyone's like,
Yeah,
"To
and the
do
state and
what?"
local officials were like, return to sender.
Yeah.
Return.
And Charles Byer was the judge, and he basically was like, there were indeed protests in Los Angeles, and some individuals engaged in violence, yet there was no rebellion, nor was there civilian law enforcement unable to respond to the protests and enforce the law. And that is the main part of that. Like, LA did not ask for the National Guard to be sent in. LAPD, pretty big police force. They had it under control.
Pretty huge.
They've handled protests before.
Yeah.
So we didn't need the National Guard here. So
We don't need the National Guard anywhere. I mean, if you're going to send it anywhere, go to Mississippi. Go to Speaker Mike
Go to the
Johnson's.
sundown towns, dude.
Yeah. The order will go into effect on September 12th. So there's still some National Guard here in LA, but basically they have to leave by September 12th, or they will be, in violation of this. So hopefully Trump follows those orders.
I just hope he pulls them out, because especially in D.C., I'm seeing all these videos of National Guards picking up trash.
Yeah. That's what they have to do because there's nothing to do.
Because there's no reason for the National Guard to be deployed.
And then now they're trying to say that there's like, he swept up crime in 12 days. There was
what crime was there?
All of the crime that was shown, at least for LA protests, was like literally one block.
Yeah.
This is quite a large city.
It's really big, actually.
When I think during that time we carpooled and we drove past when the protests were like the height of the protests that were happening. It was only within a 3-block radius of it, and you go past on the 101.
Yeah. Yeah,
I literally live very close to downtown.
I was talking to someone about it, and they were like, but what about the people who have to get to the hospitals? What if they can't get to a hospital because of the protest in downtown? I'm like, well, there's no hospital on the 3 blocks that the protest occupied. Also, people were literally delegating traffic.
Yeah. Also, there's, again, a lot of hospitals in this city.
There's also a lot of highways.
It's very big.
A lot of highways to pick from.
It's very, you know what? Downtown is a nightmare to drive in, and regularly random ass streets are blocked off. And you know what you do? You figure it out. You just go one more street down, and it's actually okay because it's going to be fine. So that's been ruled. Basically, the general thesis that everybody came up with was Trump is trying to, or I think Gavin Newsom specifically said Trump is breaking the law by trying to create a national police force with himself as its chief. Mm-hmm. And that is ultimately what he's trying to do. He's trying to overstep. We're all about states' rights, I thought, in this country.
That's it.
So...
Nah, that's not a thing.
We don't have rights.
No. But it's just another example where you see Republicans go, states' rights. Like when it came, they're like, we got to overturn Roe v. Wade so we could bring it back to the states. And then as soon as the states were like, no, we want to codify abortion. We want to protect abortion and make sure that it is not banned in this state. As soon as people started putting that on the ballot and voted to protect it, Republicans were like, oh, well, no. What we really meant was we wanted to put a national ban on it. And it's like, so it's no longer about states' rights. Mm-hmm. It's about the fact that you didn't get what you wanted, and so now you want to do what you want, which is a lot of this, even with the tariffs, right, which are illegal. Donald Trump made his Liberation Day announcement that he said he was going to liberate America by, introducing tariffs across various countries. The math made no sense. It was ass backwards, and when people reverse engineered it, they were like, this is not how you do tariffs. These are not how you apply it. And so there was on August 29th, there was a 7-4 ruling for the U.S. Court of Appeals in the Federal Circuit that said most of Trump's tariffs are illegal because the White House stretched the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, which is another part of this trend with the Trump administration or regime where they are taking some act and they're saying, well, this thing that we want to do actually applies to this, and then they try to really stretch it to the ends and the bounds that it can go in hopes that they'll get away with it, either that no one will do anything or that they'll take it to court and then the court will say, okay, this is now precedent for whatever, and it can be applied in these ways that the president or whoever deems, and again, would be something that would have to go through Congress for Congress to say, yep, we want to introduce these things unilaterally or we want to do it one-off, piecemeal, whatever it might be. And so the panel or the Court of Appeals said it was illegal. And beyond, obviously not having Congress authorizing it, and it left the tariffs in place until October 14, which is insane to be like, all right, yeah, these aren't legal, but we'll keep it in place for the next month and a half. And you're like, great, so we'll just throw our economic kind of
crises up in the air so you can juggle, not me.
And it's like, all right, so that goes to October 14th, and we know Halloween's right around the corner. People are going to get things in. We've got Thanksgiving coming around, Christmas. These are things that companies and consumers have to plan for, where right now, whether they're getting something in or they're paying for something, it's going to negatively impact and make things more expensive for us and businesses, and then ultimately us on the receiving end as well. But so the decision targets Trump's broad reciprocal 10% baseline tariffs on nearly all imports, higher on deficit countries. plus the trafficking of fentanyl tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China that he announced. The judges wrote that they don't grant a president open-ended power to levy tariffs, but they're really taxes, with some BS claim like there's fentanyl coming into the country, so we got to tariff this country. It's like, okay, do you not understand how drugs come in? Like, they're not coming to the ports and be like, all right, we're going to check this off on the manifest. That's not how drugs work. And to punish a country for something that may or may not be coming through the country through illegal channels because it's an illicit drug that is not legal is insane. To think that that's going to counteract the drugs coming through or stop them in any means.
Well, clearly we've lost any and all common sense and rational thinking
at
this point.
And so you look at it and so the other thing that I wanted for now, the tariffs imposed under other laws, notably Section 232, steel, aluminum, autos, and the other Section 301 for China's duties, aren't part of this case and aren't affected by the ruling. So again, this is one of those things where even though he had made this big announcement about like all these tariffs being unilaterally applied to these different countries, whether it be 10%, 30%, 40%, whatever, we're now, it's up to the courts. It's up to us to challenge it, to create a lawsuit, to sue them, because if we don't do it and we don't challenge it, then it just stays in place and everyone's life is a hellhole.
It's so annoying, like giving us a knot to untangle that we didn't put there.
Yeah.
Like, that's the stupidest thing. So, okay. So, it's illegal. October 14th, it's going away.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that countries...
yes.
If,
Yes.
unless we don't say anything. And then
it's going to go to the Supreme Court. So, like, that's the thing is, it's all of these things are ultimately going to go to the Supreme Court to be challenged. The question is whether the 6-3, conservative, liberal judges fall in line and go with Trump. We've seen several cases where they have ruled against him, like Amy Coney Barrett, Gorsuch, all these people who have ruled against. Some have been, but there have been a fair amount that have been against Trump. So the question is, like, can they get like a 5-4 decision, or 6-3 decision not in Trump's favor? That's the question that remains to be seen. So once we get to October, then it'll go to the Supreme Court.
Okay,
and,
so we're essentially just screwed until
it's a big
we get
waiting
the
game
Supreme-
now.
That's awesome.
Instead of
During
stopping it, they're
holiday
gonna
season too.
wait to stop it, and then it'll go and be decided by the Supreme Court. And then again, it's like we're deliberating. What are we doing? And we have to wait for it again.
Well, great. Great. Sucks for us, just for Christmas time, but also countries keep holding out. Don't ship here. Don't do it. I mean, it sucks. It's going to suck really bad for us, but like at the same time, I don't know how else to punish this country except to do the one thing that it needs most, which is consumerism.
Yeah.
Super fun, sexy, and slay. We love our president.
It's fun to watch us.
We love him more if he were dead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's fun to watch us, and not fun to watch us when I say that. Alienate ourselves from our most, like, empathetic and trusting allies.
It's concerning.
And then say, you got to pay us this amount of money. And then we go, or them go, no. And then say, we're not going to ship things
You're
over
not
to
invited
you.
to my birthday party.
Right, exactly.
Which I get. Our closest friends right now are Israel and Russia, which is... Things are really looking good for the American people.
But also, while Trump is like dead, not dead, missing at this time, then you've got Russia, China, and India meeting to basically become this new powerhouse to meet and be like, oh, hey, this and that. We can make these decisions.
We have an open slot without America.
Yeah.
So I chose this review specifically because I recently traveled. I went to New York, and while I was in line for TSA, I was the only person, hold your applause, not looking at my phone. So, guys, I told you to hold it. Gabe, clap.
Oh.
Test, keep clap, play. Guys, I told you to stop. Told you to stop. My fans love them.
Brave,
but that
bold, beautiful. She's smart.
Sensational.
okay.
Wow.
But I specifically then realized that, oh my God, everyone should feel this moral superiority. Mm-hmm. So, Ferouz Haq has a review for our workbook that says, I love this activity book. If you lived in the 90s, you will love all the references and jokes within the pages. Great for airports or just an alternative to using technology. Although the copy was labeled imperfect, I thought the paper quality was fine. We do that sometimes. We discount certain objects that don't come out perfectly correct, so you still get like a fully functional, amazing object just for like less money. So anyway, if you want to be morally superior than probably anyone at the airport, definitely get our workbooks. They're super fun. and they keep you busy.
Go get your pre-flight bevy and sit at the airport bar doing a crossword.
You are
Smart.
so mysterious. You are that airport stranger.
That is some high-level class adulting.
Exactly. Yeah. The comment I'm going to respond to is on one of our videos. Layuda D. Brandt says, that's the problem right here. We have to stop mocking each other and try to understand each other. Don't think that MAGA people are all primitive and stupid. Don't think that lefties are all sick in the head, which I don't know who thinks that. Anyway, someone divided us skillfully that we didn't even notice when. Hate is in the air, and posting those kind of propaganda on both sides hurt our beloved country beyond repair. There is nobody is out here to unite us, but so many are to divide. So I wanted to respond to that because I've noticed that there's a lot of this rhetoric coming from the right where they're like, you guys need to stop alienating us, as if they didn't openly, probably 3 times in a row, vote for a white supremacist rapist who told them exactly how he was going to divide the country. And then they sit here and watch families be torn apart and they're like, yay, keep going, Homeland Security. So to that I say, we tried warning you guys beforehand. We tried endorsing and encouraging you to speak up about the things you dislike, and instead y'all sat there and you voted again for a fascist. So I think the time for patience is a little far past. I think if you're past MAGA and you're like, oh, here's how I regret my vote, here's what I'm doing to change it, that's a little different. But to sit here and imply that we're the ones sowing division when we actively begged, since 2016, begged to not have him as a president, y'all can go f*** yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I go online and I see comments from like relatively big named right-wing influencers and like commentators, and just today they were mocking the way that Jasmine Crockett speaks.
I heard that. I heard it on an AM radio this morning.
Yeah, and they're complaining. They're like, "Oh, well," and then like people like Laura Loomer, who is a, self-proclaimed Islamophobe.
Self-proclaimed is crazy.
Yeah.
Being proud of that is crazy.
Yeah. And knowing that she's, got a ear, or at least, whatever remains of Trump's ear, she's got that to whisper, sweet nothings into. But she was making Ebonics jokes and racist jokes and was trying to make it seem like, oh, we couldn't understand Jasmine Crockett, who is a lawyer.
We understood her perfectly fine.
And is a lawmaker and is accomplished and is in the U.S. House of Representatives and is doing things to protect your right to say those things, as bigoted and as hateful as they are. Republicans and MAGA are like, oh, man, don't be so mean. Don't be so hurtful. Stop bullying me. Stop mocking. Yeah. No, we should mock. We should mock.
Yeah, and also it's like, you first.
Yeah.
Like, I just hate that because I'm like, not, all of this is, we're reacting to the that you have put on us. So, you. And no, we are going to make fun of you.
Yeah.
And I just
imagine falling for this level of propaganda.
I don't care.
It was us existing post Obama's presidency thinking, hey, maybe we can get some more social programs through with Hillary Clinton.
Maybe we could have a female president.
Yeah. And like, hey, look, I get it. Much like Gavin Newsom, people don't necessarily like this person or the politics, but understand that like they are moving towards and progressing towards a greater goal of making our country actually great and not just great again. But when you have a candidate who goes down an escalator and his opening inaugural speech announcing his presidency as a candidate is, oh, Mexico isn't sending their best. They're sending criminals, rapists, and drug dealers. Tell me how we are sowing division and how we were the ones who were causing the problem when literally the person that you voted for, the person that you put into office not once but twice after trying to overthrow the government and incite an insurrection, is the one that isn't the one that started. Like, he's the one who said these things. You voted for this guy. And
yeah.
So like when we call it out and we say, hey, here are the facts, and you go, ugh, God, I have this allergic reaction. Like, you guys started it.
Yeah. If you want to complain about the way that we might not be super nice right now, put your money where your f***ing mouth is and actually do something about it, because they went low, so now we're in hell. And we'll meet you there, happily, proudly, and loudly. Mm-hmm. So I don't give a f***.
Yeah.
We tried to play nice.
Oh, no, I'm offending people who are literally in support of concentration camps.
Yeah. Right. Like,
I don't struggle to sleep at night with
child rapist.
Yeah.
Oh no, but we don't know. The list hasn't been. It's AI.
We are.
Yeah.
It's AI.
I don't care.
Yeah. So grow up, get some critical thinking, get a moral compass, have some compassion. Maybe read the Constitution. Maybe open a history book before you sit here and say that we're sowing division, because we are literally the last line of defense towards full-fledged fascism. So I don't give a fuck. I feel like we literally have reached a point where you can't appeal to people's humanity. There's no empathy. There's no compassion. So I've just started calling people what they are. Ugly. And that is what triggers them more than the Palestinian genocide, more than families being torn apart, more than the tariffs wreaking havoc on middle-class families. Like, you're scared of me calling you a but you're not scared of a president who said grab her by the pussy and is on Epstein's list 26 times? Priorities, babe. Go f yourself. Okay, and with that being said, we're going to move on to my favorite part of the show, where we get to talk about ourselves. I'll do original.
I'll do venting.
And I will move my yerba mate.
So for the audio listeners out there, I've got myself the venting edition. And I'm going to go...
Deep vent.
You want a deep vent?
I don't know,
Yeah,
actually.
go deep.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Dive
right.
deep.
What's the most backhanded compliment you've ever received?
Oh my God.
You're pretty for a redhead. You're
Wow,
so pretty until
really
you
pull
smile.
that one out quick.
Wow, that's a up one.
God, there's so many good ones. I'd be into you if you weren't such a bitch.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a woman, so
Yeah.
who hasn't received
Quite
a
a
backhanded
few.
compliment?
Yeah.
I think that my favorite is, and I've had this happen many times, where someone will be like, oh my gosh, you know who you look like? And then they'll stop themselves and be like, and just so we're clear, like, I think she's actually really pretty. Like, I think she's actually pretty. And then they'll like name some actress who like honestly is like normal looking and fine. But like, it's the preemptive being like, oh my God, you look like, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way.
Ooh,
like,
yeah.
I actually think she's pretty. I'm just like, so you're about to compare me to someone ugly? Like, I'm
Who
like,
is it?
it could be like such a variety of
Parker
people.
Posey.
Ooh, all right, I'll take that.
Not Posey.
No, one that I've gotten a lot lately is who did the Barbie movie? Not the actress, the director. Not Margot Robbie.
Greta
Oh,
Not Greta
Greta Gerwig?
Yeah,
I could see that.
yeah.
That's cool. Doppelganger. I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't know.
For me, it would be, for a Mexican, you actually sound pretty smart.
No, you're
Yeah.
kidding me.
Yeah.
No.
People see, and this is why we actually don't care about
Yeah,
making
actually,
the fuck fun
Yeah.
of you.
go
Literally,
yourself.
everyone
Yeah.
go yourself.
I mean, I would say that the comments online, I rarely
I
get
mean,
it to
yeah,
my face,
comments
but a lot of the
online.
comments are online. And yeah, it's usually when you read, oh man, I had a
Is
some-
that for real, Gabe? That's crazy.
that is for real, because I get things like, oh,
I
I hope
believe
you,
it. That's
I
just-
hope ICE comes busting through your door. I hope you
He's a
go back
fucking
to where
sit-
you came from. I get other ones that are very much like that. I hope your family gets supported.
All from keyboard warriors wanking it in their mom's basement,
and I will say,
mind you.
there was a post that somebody wrote, this like former Democrat turned Republican kind of thing, and he said, man, call me crazy, but, and then made this whole argument for like Democrats doing something that they didn't actually do or weren't doing. And I was like, it'd be great if Republicans did this and actually were America first, like they say they are. And in the comments, it was everything that was related to me being up. They're like, you're a pedophile. I hope you get deported. I hope you go back to Mexico. Da da da. All these things. It's crazy, and I didn't even say anything controversial. I was like, just.
just existing.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
expect
is really-
better of people, and that's what their trigger
Uh-huh.
is. What should you take more time to appreciate, or what are you paranoid about?
I'm a bit of a hypochondriac, so I'm paranoid about all illnesses. When somebody's like, "Oh, I'm a little bit sick," I'm like, "Get the fuck away from me! Why are you near me? Why are you trying to murder me?" I regularly think I have diseases, and yeah, so I'm like health things in general. Like, I'm just very paranoid about having illnesses, and I don't like the doctor. That's it.
Gabe?
I am paranoid about. I constantly think I'm in high school again.
Ooh.
And
okay, 17 again.
Yeah.
Starring Zac Efron.
Yeah, and the late Matthew Perry. And also...
All right, anyway.
I mean, yeah, he's, good actor, okay.
Forgot that part.
Okay. So, I would be showing up for the final exam, not realizing that I had signed up for a class and I missed the class all semester, and then I had to show up, and I still have this dream, and I get like really paranoid about it, and I wake up and I go, oh my God, and it happens every so often.
I have OCD, so there's not a lot I'm not paranoid about. Recently, it is paranoia about like insects and stuff, because when I came home from New York, there was an entire colony of ants that was in my apartment.
I hate that.
Yeah, and I had to vacuum each and every one of their little carcasses up. So I had a dream the other night about like lice and ticks and fleas and ants. And I have tiny little fruit flies, and if I see them, I'm like, oh my God, there's an invasion, there's a swarm, that one. Or I constantly feel like I'm being watched.
Definitely get your bug situation.
Bug for
My
sure.
roommate had bed bugs, and then it became this like, oh, it showed up in another room. And then there'd be moments of like, I got little bites on my ankles. And then it was like, oh my God. Like every time I'd feel something at night, I'd be like,
yeah.
Like,
that part. Yeah. So I'm very paranoid about insect invasion, home invasion, and or just being watched.
Okay, Joy Deck, everyone. I'm going deep joy because we're just being deep today. What makes you feel most fulfilled?
Somebody laughing at a dumb joke that I made.
Oh, yeah.
Like, to me going like, oh, I made this video or whatever it is, and be like, this is a dumb joke. Or I put time and effort in to be like, oh, I like put a little Easter egg in this video I made. And to me, I'm like, oh man, that's so stupid. And then somebody calls it out in the comments or something, or sees it and like, oh my God, I love that little thing. And I'm like, yes, like you acknowledge the thing that I spent time on, or you also thought that like little throwaway line.
Yeah, I love a throwaway joke.
It's like, to me and to the few people that probably get it, I'm like, awesome.
When I probably a beach day, like you come home and you're exhausted and you shower and you have a sandwich and then you get in bed.
Love that.
I feel very
Sandwich sounds
fulfilled
great right
then.
now too, by the way.
God,
It does sound really good.
Love a
Or
sandwich.
when a skit I've done and wrote myself does well, that makes me feel like I am in the right.
I mean, mine's around the same. I think for me, it's specifically live performing, though. I feel the most fulfilled being on stage. I love being on stage. I stopped doing my own personal TikTok once I was able to do stand-up again because it was during the pandemic. And once live performing came back, I was like, I don't need that shit. Like, get me on stage. I love the energy of an audience. I love being like, oh, I've got them. I love it in stand-up. I love it in sketch. Like, when you're doing a sketch and all of a sudden you just feel you're like, oh, I have the audience and I can around now. Like, I'm not worried about my lines. I'm not worried about anything because I know that I have them and we can just like play together. That's my favorite thing in the whole world.
So if you would like to find out when you feel most fulfilled, you should get our Joy Deck, which you can purchase on Boredwalk.com. Look at this beautiful pyramid.
I was like, I didn't put it there because I was
but my brain needed to see it,
Right.
so I
It's
did
like
it.
a
So I
leaning
did it.
tower of
Delve decks. Call your lawmakers. Show up November 4th if you're registered to vote in California to vote to redistrict. I love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out with us. Okay, goodbye.
Bye.
Turning practice to perfection took some trying. Who'd have thought that I'd get my next blessing from some lines? I turned this rap into my profession and defied all their projections. No ceiling on what's manifesting in my mind, cause I get